What's up, everybody? I'm Fernando Mastrangelo. Welcome back to Design Discord. Today, I have an amazing guest, Nicole Fuller. She runs an interiors firm. You know what? I'm not even going to call it an interiors firm. It's more of a lifestyle firm. She does interiors. She does art advisory. She's doing hospitality, private members clubs. This woman is busy. She's got a firm in New York, Los Angeles, London, and Palm Beach soon. So we get into the topics that I'm always really interested in, like conversation about design, commissioning things, secondary market, collectible design, art. Dude, this interview has it all, and she's a dynamo. So I'm excited. So you know what? Let's jump in. Let's go. Nicole.
Hello.
Welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Like I was saying offline here, you're our first interior designer of the season. And so we've been we've been talking to dealers, we've been talking about media people. And so this conversation, I wanted to go into everything that we want, like all the designers want is to understand the interior design side of things and get that perspective. But but you have a cool origin story. Your mom was an artist.
Yep.
Diane Bokel.
Yep.
And so tell us a little bit about growing up in that environment with your mom and how that's, influenced who you are today. Because I feel like it's still,
Oh, gosh,
prevalent.
Yeah. I mean, listen, my mother, I always say she was like the wind beneath my wings. My mother very sadly passed 11 years ago from cancer. She battled it when I was little, and she battled it again, 12, 13 years ago, and lost her battle 11 years ago. But she, whether she's physically here or not, she still is probably my greatest influence in life. Honestly, she, was an artist. She wrote poetry. She sculpted. She painted. She upholstered all of our walls. She hosted the most magnificent dinner parties with a cast of creatives. The way I grew up was sort of like in the art world of New York City. That was also, the way I feel, which is interesting. It goes into one of my projects that I'm doing, which is a private members club now, is cool. How I grew up is how we should live with creatives. It shouldn't be so curated, with people that it's like, I love the banker, I love the creative, I love the, everyone in the room together. It was like, that is what excites, and inspires thought, and thought evokes emotion, and emotion evokes creativity. And my mother was just oozing it. And, I learned it from her innately. I learned it from the people that we surrounded ourselves with. I learned it from traveling. I lived in London for a long time, right, and Paris and Hamburg. And, so we, I felt
you were surrounded by
immersed. Yeah. Really, really specially immersed in the creative world. So it's very instinctual to me.
Do you care? So she sounds like a glamorous woman. Was she a glamorous woman, or I don't know in the sense of today, but maybe like in a glamorous way, in a different, in a different sense. I don't know.
Do you know what? I have to tell you, my uncle found this photograph, and this really describes her to a T. She was at Woodstock, way before she had me, and there's a famous photo that my uncle found after she passed. He was in France, and it was blown up as big as day in this photography sort of gallery. And this French photographer captured her at Woodstock. And my mother, I actually posted it on my Instagram. My mother loves daisies. And she is like there, fresh as a daisy, with daisies in her bag. And literally behind her is complete debauchery. Like there's like naked people. Everyone's wasted. It's like, and she just looks fresh as a daisy. And, she's in denim and a beautiful white shirt. And she was like simple. Yeah. And chic and a little boho. She loved the beach. She was a beach baby. Like, I grew up sort of New York, Hamptons, and, barefoot. So,
I can picture it.
Glamorous, but like, very
like
deconstructed, understated.
Yeah.
It was very understated. Yeah.
And so then you moved to London to not to do interior design, which, would maybe surprise people, but to do modeling. And then I read that you even did some directing of fashion films.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, you know, I think there's an interesting story there because you're in London and you get an apartment, right? King's Cross.
Yes.
And this kind of starts your career. But talk a little
Yeah.
bit about fashion and maybe how that's also like influenced you. And then, you know, how
Big
King's
time.
Cross happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was modeling and my modeling sort of took me to London, and I really, really, you know, I grew up traveling a lot in Europe with my mother. So I really felt a deep connection to London, still do. You know, we have offices in London.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. And we have a ton of projects.
What is it about it? I don't love London.
Really?
It's not my favorite town.
Oh, gosh. I don't know. Well, listen, living in London is just magical because, you know, I mean, the obvious. You take a train to Paris, you know, for dinner.
True, yeah. Right.
You're just so close to everything. And I think it's a great city. And I think the people are, you know, very, especially in the fashion world, I think they're extremely creative. And, you know, I was surrounded by the greats when I was there, and it was really, really inspiring. You know, it was really cool. And we did live in King's Cross, which was, again, like behind our gates. It was like the Wild West, but we lived.
Why? What do you?
Well, it was just like a little bit of a rough neighborhood,
Okay.
You know, and it's gotten so much. I mean, now
like
King's
exploded.
Cross is like exploded.
Right.
But it was starting to explode when I was there. And we lived in a little community called Ice Wharf. And it was 3 old cotton factories. So we had like expansive views. We were on the canal, beautiful, as you can imagine, just like warehouse windows, huge, tall ceilings, which is not really what you think of when you think of London.
London, yeah. It's more New York kind of.
It's more New York.
Yeah.
And, you know, everyone, all the cool kids live there, like Jeremy Healy, Isabella Blau, Mike Figgis, you know, like we were all like there together, and we were behind gates and behind a doorman. And then, you know, the whole rest of the street was just like a little rough, you know?
Yeah.
But it was great, you know, and I think, you know, that the grit is what is exciting, you know, the to be the first in an area, you know, that grew into this, you know, like I like that. I like tapping into that. But
Yeah, it's like a Williamsburg, like early Williamsburg, right?
Yeah.
Where now it's exploded. I remember back in the day, like the Lorimer stop was scary.
Yeah.
Like the second stop. But,
you know, it's like
but
the
that's
new
where
frontier.
like the creatives live. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. So you know, I was modeling and I was the muse of Rankin, who he's a very famous fashion photographer, and he owns Dazed and Confused with Jefferson Hack and another magazine and Another Man, Another Woman, and a few others. And I was directing fashion films, you know, for him, with him. And I really thought, you know, I'm going to be a director, you know, like the way I see things, it's very natural. It's very instinctual. I see in moving picture. So for me to direct is, I see it, you know, I see it. When you talk, I see things. I don't know how to describe it. It's, you know, I always tease, it's like that movie, A Beautiful Mind, and you see like the numbers.
Yeah.
I just see it, you know, you show me a piece of a lot or a map, and you could talk to me and I see how to build it. You know, I see how to build from the outside in. It's very, very innate in me. And
is that how you approach it? Interior? Do you feel that way with interiors? Like you walk into an empty space or whatever? Yeah.
Very much so. Yeah, very much so.
Is that what happened with with the loft?
Yeah. Well, what happened with the loft was also a lot of manifestation, because I was living right down the street and in a nice building, but not the building I wanted. And I called, it's called Foxtons. It's like a broker, you know, there. And I called every day until it was mine. And I got it. And I signed the lease that day. And it was this, you know, we had like 12-foot ceilings. You know, for London, that's wild. And I just designed it. It was just in my nature. It's what I did. I've been designing houses since I was a child. You know, my fantastical houses with my fantastical toys. And you know, it's designing with my mother. You know, I always helped my mother do things. So it's just in me. And so that home was in the press a lot.
Yeah. How did that happen? People just, because you knew people.
Well, you know, we had friends that were, you know, sort of
in the magazines and
totally. You know,
right.
you know, I've always surrounded myself with creatives. So our friends were always creative. There was editors and writers, and magazine owners and whatever, and they would come over for dinner parties and they would, who did your play? Like what? And
You're like,
I did, and
Yeah.
I did it myself. Well, who helped you? No one. I did it myself. And, I didn't really think anything of it. And I was really on a film path, I was still modeling and I was really on a film path. And I got a call from a friend that said, we have a client who saw the magazine and the magazines of your place in London. And he had interviewed all the top designers in New York. And, he doesn't feel a connection with any of them. And he'd really like to meet you. Can we fly you over? And I said, no. I said, I'm not
an interior designer.
I'm not an interior designer.
Right.
I don't know what, tell your client he should hire one of those other people.
Yeah.
And they insisted and persisted and they flew me over. And I thought, well, why not? My family's here. My friends are here. I grew up in New York. So let's go. And I showed up to the job site and it was a dirt pile, on a massive piece of land, and it had a little trailer, and I was obviously wearing a purple dress and red high heels and clearly ready for a construction site. And I walked in and he was sitting there with his wife and, we said our hellos and he said, okay, can I see your portfolio? And I said, well, I don't have a portfolio. I'm not an interior designer. Oh I said, I have a few Polaroids because I really like Polaroid film. And I started telling him how much I love Polaroid film. And he's like, what are you talking about? But okay, show me your Polaroids.
Oh my God. Okay.
So I threw my Polaroids on the table. They're terrible quality. It's like old school Polaroid.
I remember, yeah, of course.
Yeah. And he's like, okay. He's like, well, did you see the plans? And I said, yeah, of course. And he said, well, how do you see it? And I said, oh, well, how do I see it? And I was like, blah, 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 blah.
Beautiful minding it.
Beautiful minding it. I spoke for it was all getting built in my head. And then it was I think I spoke for 2 hours, maybe longer. And they said, thank you. And they barely smiled at me. And I felt like that was the worst. When you're modeling, you go on, when you're starting out, you go on a lot of go-sees and thank you, right. And until you start booking. And gratefully I did very well modeling. But I felt like it was the worst go-see I'd ever been on. They were just like, thank you. And I thought, wow, okay. And I left.
Yeah.
And I got a call about 2-3 hours later and they said, it was one of their representatives and they said, they loved you. They loved what you said and they want to hire you, get a lawyer and put a contract together. And I was like, wait, it's a 34,000 square foot house.
Whoa.
Literally. I said, I was
feeling ill prepared for that.
I was just I feel like maybe they should reconsider. Maybe they should sleep on this,
Yeah.
And they said, nope, he's ready to roll. And that's it. And they are still my client today.
No way. Okay.
And I'm on their 5th project for them. And we only build 30,000 square foot homes. And I now, on this home we're doing in Belle Harbor on the water in Florida, I have the co-architectural credit.
Oh, awesome.
And so I did everything, so ground up. And it's pretty, I feel very blessed. And I feel very blessed to have this client who's become a very dear friend in my life. Yeah. And he's an incredible champion and he and his wife.
That's awesome. Jeez.
And intense. And he's taught me a lot. He's taught me a lot. He's taught me business and he's a self-made man and he's a powerhouse and, he's given me thick skin and he's taught me a lot. And I feel very, very grateful for him and his wife.
Well, that's a nice lead into kind of where you are today. You have New York, Los Angeles, London, and last time we spoke at the Chamberlain event, you told me Palm Beach.
Yeah, we're about to close on something in Palm Beach for office studio space, so it's very exciting.
When I hear this, I just wonder, how do you manage your creativity, your personal life, your business, your clients? This just how's a day in a life of your studio at this point?
I think it's a very interesting thing. I started by myself. Mm-hmm. Literally, I made a closet in my apartment, my office, and then I went to a studio downstairs from my building, and then I moved, and I hired one employee and another, and now we have 16 plus on staff and growing. Mm-hmm. And I think it's all about team, you know, it's really all about team. Honestly, I can dream, I can design anything, you know, and it's so instinctual to me, as I said. So it's like I can move and think fast. But if I didn't have my team to help me execute my dreams, my visions, my dreams with my clients, their visions, I wouldn't be able to grow in this beautiful way, you know, and be able to take on these amazing projects. But, you know, my team is solid, and they're, you know, I'm sure a lot of people say this, but I really feel that we have the A team, you know, like everyone on my team is A+. Wow. And I work very hard. You know, I'm a Ferrari.
I could tell when you showed up. You're on the phone with the client. Yeah.
I'm always, you know,
and
I love it. And it's funny. My husband is hilarious. He you know, Sundays are like, you know, I'm like, 2 hours I start to itch. I'm like, I'm going to go just check some email, you know.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's good. You know, it's good though. I'm very inspired and I'm very excited about what I do. And I feel very, you know, excited about all of our clients and all the projects. And I love the team. And my team, I have to tell you, is very much like me, you know. They sometimes don't leave me alone on the weekends, you know, and they're excited. And there's nothing better than, you know, being able to live this beautiful life, doing what you love. So I don't know. How do I juggle it? I just keep
going.
Like
you have good people around you.
And great people around me, you know, really great people around me.
But do you find that your focus, like, so you're saying you get to dream up the designs. Is that really where you're like managing between your client and the designing, right? You're kind of like, but the designing feels like it comes so natural to you that that's not even the hard part. It's like, that's, kind of easy. And then, you know, getting the wheels in motion, getting the team going on all the, is kind of the.
I would say the hardest part about design is keeping everyone on time and keeping all your, you know, it's just, it's a, you know, it's a funny
big management process.
It's a big management. And the thing, and I think, you know, and what I've learned, you know, over the years, and the reason why we have clients from beginning to now, and our clients are lifers.
Yeah, lifers. Yeah, five projects. Yeah.
And
I've heard that a lot with interior designers. If you get a good client, basically they'll work with you for forever.
Well, and it's about you too, right? Like you have to always do right by your clients, and you have to make them happy, and making them happy should make you happy, and making my clients happy makes me so happy, and it should be fun. Like I have fun. Like
it should be. It's like it should be the fun. Yeah,
we should have fun. You know, we're dreaming, we're building. You know, I'd say the hardest part is just, you know, tracking, procurement, you know, pushing people, you know, it's a full-time job. You know, everyone thinks it's like designing over tea and, you know, crumpets, but it's like, it's big business, you know, it's big business.
Well, that's perfect for what I wanted to ask you about. So let's get into a little bit about sourcing. I mean, this is a huge part of the job, right? Tell me a little bit about that process. Like where, I know through looking through your projects, I recognize a lot of galleries, a lot of, you know, showrooms that you probably buy from. But so where are you discovering? And
I'm discovering, honestly, I have to tell you, every day. You know, I travel all the time. You know, I'm going to Barbados on Monday with a client. You know, we're tapping into the local artisans, the local ceramic makers, the local, you know, I am constantly discovering, and I'm discovering on a global basis. You know,
So it's not just like fairs.
No, God, no. No. You're
going to see artisans in Barbados.
Yes. I want to find what nobody has.
Right.
I want to do what nobody has.
When something even if they're like not market proven or anything like that, what grabs you like right away? Something. Yeah.
Creativity, talent, skill, dedication, passion. You know, like I can sense it. I would tell you, my superpower. I love this. I want to credit my client because he said this the other day, and I said, I love the way you said that, because I always say it's my best talent, but I like the way he said it. He said, my superpower is people. My superpower is understanding people and listening and really tapping in to individuality, because we pride ourselves as a firm, and I pride myself a designer, as a creative, on creating one-of-one bespoke interiors, whether it's, residential, hospitality, whatever it is. And
one of one.
One of
like,
one.
Meaning it's really tailored. Yeah, I heard that
100%.
you sometimes start a project by going into their closet. Is that true?
That's true. Yeah.
Because it tells you what? Reveals what?
Tells me so much, because what will happen is
if you walked into mine, it's all black, a black and blue cloud. I was wondering.
That tells me a lot. But do you live in color? Do you live with color?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. Yeah, a lot of the artworks
Yes.
we have are colorful.
Yep.
Yeah.
So a lot of times what happens, and not always, but a lot of times what happens is when people dress in color, they don't live in color. And when people dress in black, they live in color.
They live in color.
And it's not, always, and there's no formula, but I am very intuitive, and I can really tap into, someone's personality and maybe what they're holding back. What happens a lot of times is, clients say to me, like, I want you to push me. I love what you do.
Okay.
I love your taste. I love your style. I want you to push me because I want to do this, but I'm so scared. I don't know how to do
what do
this.
they bring you? They bring you Pinterest, Instagram, photo, that kind of thing?
Sometimes they bring me stuff. Sometimes they bring me nothing,
Okay.
But I like to see it. I love the creative process. So I am 100% on board. If you want to show me 500 Pinterest boards, I'm going to look through every single one, and I will figure out why you like each image. And it's not always what you think it is. I know how to figure it out, and I know how to sort of like supersede your expectations, and bring what you love about what we do into it in a way that you almost can't put into words, so.
Also, a lot of your clients, it seems like they already have art collections, or they're being advised by you for their art collections as well. Like, is that sometimes the foundation for a lot of, because I already have these works?
Yeah.
Okay.
It can be, it really depends.
Varies.
I have a lot of clients who are big collectors, and some of them, love to move their art around to multiple homes. They have multiple homes. And sometimes it's fun to move art around. A lot of my big collector clients, we move things around and we live with things for a while, and then we collect more, and then we move things around again. And then some things go in storage, and then...
You're managing that part too?
Yes.
Does your team manage all that?
Yes, yeah. So we have a big art advisory division.
Right, yeah.
Of our firm. And, because of the way I grew up, because of the artists, I know a lot of the artists personally. So we go... we work with the galleries for sure. We, love all of my friends at the galleries, but we also are very close. I'm very close with a lot of the artists direct. So we go direct to the studios, and
that's something I wanted to ask you about. Yeah. Also I'm curious, obviously you work with a lot of galleries. So you seem to have a couple, I saw, like, let's take Ryan Lee's project.
Yes.
You have Vincenzo, which is from Carpenters, and then you have a Giancarlo Valle, you have Rashid Johnson, which I don't know if they acquired those came. You have the Ettore Sozzas, which I feel like maybe came from R. I don't know. Yeah. So I'm looking at, you have Christophe.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the project. I'm like, okay, so she seems to have a couple of galleries that she trusts that you frequent, obviously.
Yeah.
Why those galleries? What is it? What's the quality level? The trust in those? What is it that?
I think trust is really important. I think working with not just galleries, but working with galleries, artists, artisans. I always, if I'm working with a new artisan, I start small. Just in case. You just never know. They have to be able to deliver. And because if they don't deliver, it's on me, and I will handle it. And I always take care of my client. I will never leave the client at fault. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I understand.
You have to take care of your
We
client.
take care. Yeah.
100%.
Anything goes wrong with
I always make sure.
But you do take risks, is what you're saying.
Of course. Without risk, there's no reward. You have to take risks, right? Like, why not take risks for a new talent that could do what you want them to do in a manner that you've never seen before. It's so exciting. That's nurturing talent is also something that really excites me, so 100%. I take risks, at times, but they're mitigated risks. They're not anything crazy. I'm not going to hire one guy that I don't know to do the whole, to do all the murals in the house when I don't know if he's going to take my, deposit and, go to.
Of course. Is it different with like 3D objects? I mean, with creating like custom furniture pieces?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we have, and I'm always open. I feel like I like to learn and discover every single day. But I have, my tried and true work rooms that build for me.
Oh, you do? Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Gosh, I have a corral of, work rooms and artists and artisans that are 100%, my go-to. But I still like to continually add to that corral and expand on that corral and look for new talent, and be turned on by new things, I mean, and I'm not finding these guys on the street corner, it's like, I'm having dinner with somebody who says, hey, you have to meet this person. And then I go meet the person. And then, we vet them 100% before I would even take the smallest risk. And then I give them tests, like, okay, I'll give you one little piece.
Yeah.
Make it this for me. This is the date. This is the money. Like, if you deliver on time, there's more, it's like.
Yeah, cool.
And, and then you build trust together from there, and I support the artists and the artisans, so they also expect a lot from me and my team, and it's like, it's a dance and it's a beautiful dance.
Do you see, since you're traveling so much, give me some insight on like, do you see the center of gravity moving in certain areas in terms of creativity, like where there's a lot of creative energy going on right now, especially like furniture and art?
I mean,
or do you think New York is still the nexus of
I think New York will always be the nexus. I love New York. New York is my forever. I'm a city kid, like forever. But, I've lived in many places, as you know, and for example, I think Milan is on fire.
Yeah.
I think
Dan said the same thing yesterday.
My boy.
Yeah. Why is that? Yeah. Why? Well, I guess it was affordable at one point to go to Milan.
Right now, it's like going through the roof. I mean, it's wild what's happening in Milan. But Milan is unbelievable. It's exploding. I mean, it's exploding as a city, the talent that's coming there. Lola Schnabel, who's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
She lives in Sicily mainly. She grew up in New York, lives in Sicily, and she had a place in Milan, and we're now looking for a place together to take, a little spot there. So we can host and we can curate and we can do some amazing things, and sort of keep everyone inspired and bring clients there. Milan is just so exciting. Honestly, I mean, when I was there for Salone this year, I just was like, I couldn't even sleep at night. I was so excited about everything I saw and everyone I met and everything that was going on. And I just said, with Lola and I were like, let's just get a place here. I mean, this is amazing. So I think Milan is top of my mind when you ask that question, for sure. So yeah, I think that's a really exciting place right now.
When we're talking about these projects that you do that with like, artisans and things like that, do your clients kind of demand a certain market validation at all? Or are they really kind of open? Because also like things cost a lot, right? You have to sometimes market validation require, like, well, are they an up and comer? Are they working with this? Or does that matter in your world?
As in when you say market,
like that they, that they potentially have,
an investment or not an investment. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very honest. I'm very honest with my clients. I very clearly will say, hey, listen, even in the art world, I'll say, hey, listen, if you love this painting, let's get it, because life is short. And if you love it, live with it. This will not be an artist, in my opinion, that will become X.
Right.
I could be wrong. I can't tell the future, but, I want you to be aware. But if you want to buy to invest, this is an incredible artist that has an unbelievable trajectory because of the museum shows that are coming up, because of the galleries. So it's like, I'm always honest, but I also don't think, me personally, I don't think you should buy art that way. I think it needs to be a connection. And I think it needs to be something you live with. I mean, that's how I buy. But we have a lot of collectors that buy both ways. They buy for investment and they buy because they actually just like the piece. And there's no wrong way. All the ways are correct. You know, it's a personal thing. And I always say that, you know, like I that's where my superpower comes back in, because I am very good with people and I know when to push you and I know when not to push you. Because I don't want to push you to say yes to something when I really know the answer is no. And I don't want to push you for anything that you feel gray about. You either need to love it or hate it. I tell my clients that all the time. I say, love, hate. I say, you're my muse. I tell my clients, you're my muse. You have to inspire me. I will inspire you all day long. But tell me, you're my muse. Like, love, hate. I don't want gray. You can't live with gray. Life's too short to live with gray. I want you to love it. And if you love it, we're getting it. And if you hate it, who cares? You know, let's move on. It doesn't matter if Joe loves it. You don't have to love it. You know, there's so much, you know, I think design is so exciting and I love to be challenged. So I don't know. I just say you can't be stagnant. And I think, you know, with collectible pieces, there are certain artists that will continue to go up in value, and we've seen it tracked in the market. And there are certain artists.
How are you tracking that? Secondary market? Do people do you bring up? I mean, art market is very heavily secondary market aware. Collectible design is not as
correct.
Yeah. So yeah, if it was one of the things I want to talk about, because when we talk a lot about collectible design. We're actually trying to, with the pod, I'm trying to kind of understand the world of collectible design. And because you're attached to the clients, like, do your clients understand what collectible design is?
Some do, and some I have to sort of explain it to. For example, Ryan, when I first met Ryan, you know, he was really into art and he really wanted to learn. And I really brought him into the world of collectible design. And he now is immersed in it and he loves it. And he's so excited about it. And he's a big collector, you know. And there are, I mean, a lot of collectible design tracks, you know. I mean, look at Rare, you know, original Rare. I mean, you can't even get Prouvé. I mean, you can't even get. So,
but I'm thinking about you know, like the Vincenzo. Like, do you see, you know, like he track in the future?
I mean, I think Vincenzo, I think he's so unbelievably talented, and I think.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I think he could. I think he could be in the canon. Yeah.
Yes,
there's certain artists
100%. Because Vincenzo, you know, what's so interesting is I have a friend who now runs the Donald Judd Foundation.
Alexandra.
Yeah. And she, you know, there are some new exciting things coming out of the Judd Foundation soon that have never been seen before, from his architectural drawings of furniture and design. And, you know, they will be sort of like reproduced, right?
Right.
But the originals will always be the original. So I think the same thing will, I consider Vincenzo to be, he has the potential to be, and he is one of the greats.
Yes.
And when I don't know if you've ever been to one of his homes.
I mean, I've seen them published there. It's almost like hard to understand that that's a real space, because you're like, is this theater? Or is this...
No, you have to. I'm telling you, when you go to his home, every single thing is done by him. The kitchen counter, the tea, everything is done by him. And he's an architect. And the way he works with silver and the way he polishes metal and the way he meets materials, it's like a beautiful mind. I mean, it's like, you're in awe. I mean, it's just like none other. So I love that not a lot of people know that about Vincenzo. They say, okay, I can buy this object. But there's so much more to be, you know, unveiled with him. So that's why I feel for him and, you know, his wife, Claudia. I mean, they are just a dynamite team, you know, and I think they are one of the greats and they will go down in history. I do. I believe in them very much.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I'm trying to also, kind of decipher, is like, who are those players that will be the Royers, you know, because those are already in the canon, you know. Yeah. And the secondary market is not that strong. But I wonder if your clients are like, all right, I'm going to buy this table. I'm going to take a risk with you because of the trust in you. Yeah. Will this have, you know, resale value in the future? Do they ask that? Do they care?
Sometimes they care. Sometimes they don't care.
Okay.
You know, and when they ask, I say, listen, I mean,
Right.
I can resell this for you. And also I work with galleries that are sophisticated. You know, I work with carpenters, Friedman Benda, you know, I work with the right galleries that if we want to sell something in the future, they're going to take the piece back and they're going to sell it for us and they're going to get out of it what we paid for it. Okay. So we always work with people that stand by their product and stand by their what they're representing, because I don't, you know, I'm not going to go to, you know, and listen, we've had to like really vet the galleries. I mean, Carpenters is amazing. Friedman Benda is amazing. There's other greats, you know, but you have to be very careful, you know, but I work with really great galleries who will always stand by the work. You know, Vincenzo will always stand by his work. You know, Nacho will always stand by his work. Right. Nacho will come and fix he's like, this is my passion. This is my heart, you know? And to me, you want to live with collectible design like that. You know, I just think it's exciting, you know? And again, like, we don't just buy a table from Carpenters, you know, Vincenzo's a dear friend, Nacho's a dear friend, you know.
So you've built those relationships. But you don't go direct to those kind of artists, right?
I go direct creatively, but I buy through the gallery.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, because I respect the structure. I respect, you know, the artist needs the gallery needs the artist, and I respect that, you know. But I love to work with the artist one-on-one creatively. Like, we have multiple commissions with all these guys now. Right. And, you know, we talk bi-weekly and we look at progress and we get excited. And, you know, just today I just received something from Nacho, and it's like, you know, it's something you've never seen before. I can't talk about it, but it's something he's never made before. And
not a cocoon.
Nope. Not a cocoon.
Okay, cool.
And it's so exciting. So,
well,
you know, we have direct access. I mean, I'm an artist, I'm a creative. Right. So I'm not just an interior designer, you know.
Don't you feel like the industry's kind of exploded in the last 20 years?
I've had my company for 14 years. Yeah. So I think what I've even seen from COVID to now, and then even in that time.
What would you say has changed or evolved better?
I think it's a lot of crossing over. You know, I think it's a lot of, you know, fashion meets design meets music meets art I think there's a lot of crossover. I think, you know, everything used to be very separate, and I think everything's together. And I think there's a lot of amazing collaborations. You know, textile houses are collaborating with, you know, fashion designers and you know, music people, and like, it's so immersive.
Term mix now. Yeah.
What?
It's more, it's like getting mixed.
It's all mixed. It's like one beautiful creative, you know, paella. Yeah. You know, it's like one beautiful pot, and it's nicer and it's fresher because it's not just like, oh, I do interior design. Oh, I do music. Oh, I cut, you know, seams and fashion. You know, like, I've been so inspired by, you know, fashion designers. I mean, I will take sort of like the way they stitch or seam something and do it on a drape. I'll, you know, take the way a ruffle hits on a dress and do it on, you know, it's like, it's so exciting. And I think the crossover, I also just think that there's, again, because people are more knowledgeable. My clients are so much more knowledgeable now than they were 14 years ago because there's so much more access. Right. You know, I mean, even think about the fairs, you know, like Art Basel 14 years ago was just for collectors, right, for art. And now it's like art, design, food, music. I mean, it's everything, you know, so it's like all worlds come together. And I think it's exciting, you know, I think I like that, you know, you know, I think the days of like Andy Warhol's factory, like, that's what we're feeling now, you know, it's like everyone's coming together. I don't know. I mean, obviously I wasn't there, but I mean, no, from what I read about it and what I understand, it was like such a creative outlet. So you feel like we're in a very explosive creative time, it sounds like, from your vantage point. Yeah, I do. Very much so. Well, cool. Do you feel that way? Not so much. Okay. I want to, yeah. Why? What makes you say that? I feel like there's so much going on, right? That they exploded to the degree that it's hard to kind of keep track of what's going on out there, because design, when I started in design,
there wasn't as much either. There were fewer players, and now there's so much out there that Instagram has made you see so much stuff.
Yeah.
It's getting kind of hard to decipher what's good, what's new, what feels fresh. I feel like there's a lot of derivative stuff going on because of that. And then you got to like shuffle through all of that to kind of understand where we're at. Yeah. You know, and right now there's this explosion of craft.
Yeah.
That's kind of been the new, you know, word going on around there. And so, you know, so I feel like things are moving in that direction a bit, but I'm still trying to figure out what that means and why that's kind of important today. Yeah. Is that something that you've...
When you say craft, what do you mean exactly?
Well, it's just that word, right? When people are using clay, fiber, they're using different materials that are traditionally thought of as maybe more artisans.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean? Like that's starting to kind of pick up a pace. Yeah. We had Lisa Perry here and she does own a house and it's all about craft. And I have some future guests that are coming on just to speak specifically about craft. I think it's like a buzzword right now in the design world. So...
You know, I'm very leery of trends and buzzwords, to be honest. I mean, I don't design in that way. I don't follow anyone. You know, I set it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I set, you know, timeless interiors, like one of one bespoke timeless interiors. And
what makes something timeless in your view?
Something that doesn't date, something that's not trendy.
Do you look at your older projects and still say, that's good, that still holds?
Pretty much.
No, that's good. I always wonder about that because
I mean, it's definitely evolved, you know.
Right.
I've definitely, you know, my clients now are, I mean, you know, I started with an
34,000
client, but I'm just saying, you know, it's, I feel very blessed because I have clients that want to collect and want the best and want me to use my mind in a way that gives them the most exquisite one-of-one interior. And it's time. It has to be timeless. You know, I want my interiors 20, 30 years from now to be like, wow, honestly, it's still amazing. Like maybe it needs a quick refresh and some pillows need to be recovered and maybe new. But no, it should feel like, look at the Carlisle Hotel. Look at, you know, timeless interiors are what I want to live in. And it doesn't have to be of a certain time period. It could be modern. It could be classical. It could be, you know, it could be minimal. It could be anything. But timeless minimalism has never gone out of style.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that all of the explosion is good. I think it's 1%. I do. I think there's only a few that are brilliant, and I only work with the brilliant ones, you know. And listen, there are some new ones that are brilliant that nobody knows about yet, and they will rise. The cream always rises to
How do you
the
find
top.
them?
I go into studios.
You do?
I talk to people. I tap into like, who was your last assistant? What are they doing? You know? Oh, you know what I'm saying?
That's a great question. Because I worked for Matthew Barney.
Yeah.
You know, and then once I left his studio. That's a great way. You go to from the school they went to like, who are your assistants? Yeah. Because those are always kind of the next, if they don't stay fabricators, they end up usually going to have careers. That's a good one.
Because it's true. Like, think about, you know, some of, you know, I mean, Stephen Klein's one of my best friends. Some of his ex-assistants are, you know, shooting the cover of Vogue.
Right.
Because they worked with Stephen for so many years and they learned and they're so talented. So like, who is your last assistant? What are they doing? What are they up to? The good ones are up to something very good. You know what I mean? And it's true, like the cream always rises to the top. And that's why I personally believe that you need to hire, you know, there's brilliant designers out there, but you need to hire proper professional designers because they will make sure that you're not mucking around in the stuff that's not going to be good, or it's not going to last, or it's not going to be timeless, and it's not going to be quality. Essentially, you know, when you talk about collectible design and you talk about like Urs Lorman or any of these guys, I mean, brilliant,
totally
quality, timeless. Right. I mean, when you can barely move a piece of furniture, trust me, it's quality. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You know, I mean,
my works are heavy.
Like,
it's just not just because they're heavy, but because I agree with that. There's something about that. Yeah.
There is like a great piece of something, like it has weight to it.
Yeah, like
you
a
know?
good watch.
It's like
totally.
you just know, and like that's why you hire the
We always
professionals.
me and my wife always talk about when I come into a building and it has a heavy door. I'm like,
it's gonna be good.
It's
gonna be good. Yeah,
yeah, this is good. You want a heavy ass door.
You can tell in a restaurant when you pick up the glass
Totally.
or it's fork. Oh, this is gonna be good. No, it's
That's
true.
funny.
You know, I mean, that's why I do what I do, and that's why I'm so good at it. Is because I can suss that out in a nanosecond. You know.
Yeah, I with years of it, you start to master that. You start to
Yeah.
Do you feel so? There's a lot of people that I've spoken to on the pod. They also talk about the interior designers are the gatekeepers of the industry. Do you feel that way?
100%.
You are the gatekeeper. Yeah.
Well, 100%. Like,
some of the gallerists think they're the gatekeepers, and then
some of them are.
Yeah.
You know, like gallerists. What's so great about gallerists, and they're, you know, most of them are my dear, dear friends. You know, like I don't spend day in and day out. You know, like. Today I'm back-to-back meetings, so I'm not spending the entire day today going to discover new talent, but the gallerist is. Do you see what I'm saying? So
totally, they're out there doing it.
They're grinding, they're doing it, they're going to places that I go, but I can't go day to day because I'm running a business.
So they're almost like your advisors. You're like, all right, I got my army of advisors. Yeah. They're out there looking for me. Then I go and do my looking.
Yeah, no, and they also will make sure. Okay, I'm not going to mention any names, but there is a great gallery I work with, and we ordered some stuff from this artist that is based in Japan, and it's found objects. And it took a ridiculous amount of time for him to find these objects, which we were promised something different. And I said to the gallerist, hey, listen, we want our money back or
yikes,
or find the object, you know, like, period, end of story by Friday, you know. And that's what I do for my clients. Like, I'm not gonna let, you know, but it was like a year plus. It was like something crazy. And guess what? The gallerist communicated, and guess what? He found the object pretty damn quickly. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, great gallerists that have your back are just as important as having the access to the studio direct. So I respect all of those relationships 10 plus. Really. It's important. I stand by my clients. They have to stand by me. The artist has to stand by them, or the artist stands by me. And it's a chain of events, you know. It's like we all support each other in this, and we all got to have each other's backs and take care of the client and make sure at the end of the day that client is getting what they've asked for plus, and they're actually moving into their space and they're happy. And the result is always in the next project with them or the referral from them. And it's a beautiful thing. It really is. It's like a beautiful, I believe,
tapestry that you kind of weave with your clients of referrals, and then it leads to I mean, it's similar in the maker side, you know what I mean? Yeah, people see things and publish in other, like, oh, that's beautiful, right? And then it kind of leads to other work. Yeah,
it's exciting.
Is there something that maybe designers, like on my side, misunderstand about your part of the job that, you know, that you wish sometimes you're like, I wish artists knew this part, you know?
It's a really good question. I'll tell you this. I definitely tend to work more with artists that have no ego and are generous and understand that sometimes the client needs to be involved, because, you know, I've worked with commissions. I'm talking about commission work. It's very different if I'm going to a gallery and I'm going,
just
I love
buying
this,
the
I'm
thing.
buying this.
Totally.
I'm buying the thing.
But most of the work is commissioned, I would feel like. Yeah,
exactly.
That is the biggest part of the business.
We're doing bespoke interiors, so this may not be big enough for me, or this may be too big for me, you know?
It's kind of annoying on our side because you build something and then they're like, I love this. Can it be X size? Yeah. Okay, so we'll go ahead.
But it's funny you say it's annoying. I would want you to say it's inspiring.
Oh, damn. My bad.
Because, like, I want to push you, because maybe you go, oh, you know what?
Okay.
Do you know? So, for example, I can't talk about what it is, but with Nacho, I called him and I said, hey, listen, you can say no. Like, I have an idea. Say no if you think I'm crazy. But I think it's amazing, and I think you're going to be really into it. And he was like, tell me. And he loved it. And he was like, I actually have been wanting to do this.
Make something like
Like,
that.
think about it, because Nacho became famous for his cocoons. He's like,
Correct.
I love making cocoons, but like, I want to evolve.
Make other stuff. Yeah.
I want to make other stuff.
The market sometimes demands you to stay in that, in the cocoon, no pun intended, but you know what I mean?
But then you become an Elvis.
Yeah.
You become a trapped bird.
Correct. Yeah.
And I love Elvis.
It's one of the downfalls of success in a weird way, like because people, want you to kind of make.
But you can't have fear. One of the best things in life is to be fearless. You
Yeah.
can't think about anything else. As an artist, I think you have to be fearless. I think you have to be challenged. And I think that, people like to put fear in you. Like, people like to say, you have to continue to make these bloody cocoons.
Right.
Like, that's what the people want, But you're brilliant. You came up with the cocoons. So come up with something else. Get out of the cage. Like... And by the way, if you fail, go back to making cocoons. But you're not going to fail because you're brilliant, and have no fear. Like, it's not an easy thing to say have no fear, but
I know you're saying it like,
I know,
because
it's not
you
easy.
got assistants and you got this.
I didn't have it. I was scared out of my wits when I started this first project.
Yeah.
I mean, I have this, master of the universe as a client, and I never did this before except for myself. At a much smaller scale on my own timeline in London, in between modeling jobs, and all of a sudden I have 4 architects, 3 landscape designers, engineers, that all need everything from me, and it was very scary, but I was like, I can do this. I'm scared out of my mind, but I know I believe in me. There's no better investment, and I can do this. And I don't live without fear. I mean, fear rises and comes down, right? You know what I mean? Like, but you have to overcome fear to be great, and you have to overcome fear to tap into like
a new thing,
a new friendship, a new
No, I know. I personally, I'm going through that because I'm about to launch a show at Christina Grijalva's, and it's all new work.
Who I love. Christina's amazing.
She's fantastic. So there's a fear. There's a little bit of like all this new stuff that doesn't really look like my old stuff that much, and so it's like a bit of a But there's definitely something to overcome there. Yeah, about having to release something that you don't know how it's going to be received.
Yeah.
But yeah. I wanted to go back to about the annoying part.
Can I tell you one good thing about what you just said, though?
Tell me.
You should have no fear because you have one of the best gallerists in Manhattan who believes in you and who will show your work and who she knows who to invite. And you're already tried and true. Yes. And I love your work. And
yes, we found out that you had my work.
People are gonna. It might not be for everyone, but that's okay. It's gonna be for someone. And maybe this is what taps into what you're about to say about commissions.
Yeah. The thing is, I say that what I said, but I also mean, look, I've had some designers present ideas to me that use my work.
Yeah.
That I'm like,
You're like, no.
That was pretty good. Like Jamie Bush sent me something once, and I was like, damn, that's a great piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he used my language and the thing, and I was just like, yeah, that's brilliant. And I've had many times where I have a client say to me, oh yeah, this is what we're kind of looking for. We love this and this, and they kind of put the combination together, and I'm like, wow, that's really good. And so I've made some great pieces from those conversations that when you're saying, sometimes it's important for the artist and designer to be close to the client, that turn out amazing. Right, and then they end up weirdly being like successful works in my portfolio for the future. And I'm like, and sometimes it's been like grinding to get through the final approval of the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna come. And then it's funny. I have a piece that I'm thinking specifically of that has now become a frequent seller, and I'm like, damn, yeah. And it came.
And do you love it?
I love that piece.
Yeah.
And it did take, and she combined like 3 or 4 different languages of the work, and was like, and she kept pushing me, being like, that's not exactly it. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I did so many renders for it. Yeah. But we ended up on something great. Yeah. And I used
exactly
a brand new material that I had to source from from England, actually,
Yeah.
like that I would have never sourced otherwise. So anyway,
See?
but no,
I
you're
love
right.
that. I
no,
love
I
to
know.
be challenged.
So I don't mean to mean like,
Yeah.
I just mean that when you make something, sometimes you just want that thing to go, you know, to live in, to be put in a home instead of like,
Yeah.
I just need it 4 inches wider. And you're like,
Yeah.
damn. But
I understand
you know
that.
what I mean.
I
Yeah.
understand that. But there will be, you know, listen, I completely understand that. But I also think that, you know, it's nice that somebody wants something 4 inches
Yeah,
wider
totally.
because,
No, listen, you're not
you
going to say
know,
no. Of course.
yeah,
You have
you're
to
not
be
gonna
like,
say
"Listen,
no."
do it. I'll do it.
And then that showpiece stays in the gallery, so someone
No,
else can
totally.
buy it,
That is actually nice because then you have inventory to
You have
kind of
inventory,
show.
yeah,
Totally, which is
yeah.
rare in the design.
Yeah.
Well, in my kind of field of
Yeah.
play. Yeah.
And Christina's really great about that. Like, she will let you buy off the floor, but a lot of galleries,
Oh, really? Yeah.
so they do, but like they're like, it's in a show, like let's
Gotcha.
wait, or
Yeah.
maybe they're communicating with you and saying, hey, you know, Nicole Fuller wants this, but well, if it's me, they're giving it to me, but no, it's true. But like, I'm just saying, like, somebody wants this.
Yeah.
How quickly can you make something else? Because we don't want the gallery not to have you in it. You know,
Right, totally.
I mean, you know, you want your pieces to always live there.
Yeah.
So
we have a 4-month show, so I wonder how that's going to pan out. If people want something right away, they're going to have to leave the show, but we'll see.
yeah, but then you make something else,
Yeah, yeah.
and maybe listen. I also think if somebody comes to you and says, I mean, there are good ideas and there are not good ideas, you know, and sometimes they
Yeah,
check,
totally.
you
No, I
know,
won't do. Yeah, no, I've had to say no to certain
exactly.
ideas. So tell me a little bit about this private members club. That sounds cool. I mean, that's exploding
So
too. That
cool.
industry is just like going bonkers.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean,
What-
you know, it's wild.
Can you talk about the project?
Yeah,
or-
yeah.
Okay,
It's
cool.
called Coscu.
Coscu.
And we are in the old Nell's space, which was Nell's was a nightclub my mom went to, like when she was modeling.
That rings a
And,
bell, but yeah.
you know, I can't remember the exact years, but it was like
Yeah.
the place, like Studio 54 at
Right.
Nell's. Like, it was like, if you Google it, and it's like a major iconic location, and it's 2 floors, and the plan is, you know, we're tracking. The plan is to open Fashion Week in February, and
What's the vibe?
it's inspired by London. It's got a British heritage sort of background, and you know, it's exciting. I'm not going to say too much.
All right, fine.
Because
yeah.
it's
We'll
going
see
to
it
be
published,
a nice,
I'm sure.
exciting
Yeah.
reveal for everyone. But you know, we're about to lock down the chef, and I'm a partner.
Oh,
You know,
awesome.
in
Yeah,
in the club as well. That came later. You know, I was hired, and you know, I'm pretty invested in everything I do, and we're all friends, and you know, it's going to be really special, and really, it's going to be great. You know, and I like that it's 2 floors. It's not cavernous. You know, it's not so massive that when it's not busy every night, it feels empty. You know,
What's what type of? Well, can you talk about who's going to be the people that go? Or is it creative crowd? Is it the business crowd? Is it everyone? You're going to mix everything.
You know what it
did with
is?
your mom?
We want it to feel very European, because
Okay.
I think what we all talked about is, you know, the partner is, again, like to be revealed, but he is someone who throws the best parties globally. Fashion Week, Grammy, like
Okay,
the
cool.
best globally. And he has a major following of creatives, celebrities, finance team, all of it. But what we said when we started was, we want this to feel like, you know, you're in Forte de Marmi and you're at a beach club, and you have, you know, your grandparents are there, and the 16-year-old is there. Like, it should cross over all ages. You know, we want all ages to go and have fun. Like, that's a European culture, that you all go out together and you all stay at the nightclub together and you all party together, and it's like you're connected, and families know families and people know people, and it's not like, you know, what happens, I think, especially in America, is it's like, oh yeah, that's like that's an older crowd, or that's a younger crowd, or that's I can't figure out what crowd that is, and we want it's the best of the best crowd, but it's crosses all ages. You know, it feels very European, and we all are together in this, and it's going to be very unique. You know, it's going to be very special, and the members are really exciting, and you know, they're going to keep membership quite tight, because
I'm sure. Yeah.
I think what happens is, you know, you got to keep the membership tight to
No,
keep
yeah,
the right
you
people.
do.
That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, I'm very excited.
Awesome.
It's
I always like
it's gonna be great.
to ask where you see yourself in the next, 5 years, or the firm, just continuing this path, or more advisory, more interiors, more hospitality. Where do you see?
Yeah, I think more of all of it.
More of all of it.
I think our advisory division is huge.
Big part.
Like we do a big,
Yeah, I saw some of the artists you're on the site. It's big time.
and we do the art advisory is booming, and the interiors, and I'd say we're doing a lot more hospitality, but I think it'll always be a balance of residential and hospitality.
Okay.
We're designing a building from the ground up in Palm Beach, outside in. We are sort of starting a landscape division, which is very exciting because it just happens organically because I see everything. Like I see how I would like the landscaping. I see we train your staff on how to serve and make a table setting, or how to make 15 table settings. Yeah, because it's like you can give someone all the tools, but if they don't know how to put it together, Right. I set 10 tables and we photograph it and we put it in books and we train the staff, and this is how the floral should be, and this is da-da-da-da-da, and we train the florist. So it's like, you can have a beautiful space, but then if you can't activate it the right way, it won't have the same feeling and it won't evoke the same emotion. And what has happened on past projects is the landscaping doesn't feel like it matches the interiors.
Right.
And it feels like a little bit of a disconnect. And I've, brought them together with like potting plants and beautiful specialty pots that I had someone make, or I had someone find, or I found. And it definitely connects the two. But more and more, I've been wanting to. You
want to control that part too? You want to be able to
not
control it, but have your hand in it. Yeah, I
want it to be seamless, And it's like you go, the places in the world where everything feels seamless. It's because it's like one thread of one vision. And, and we have amazing landscapers we work with that also have that vision. But if for some reason there's someone not hired, or there's someone hired who potentially may not have the vision, it takes a little more work to get there.
Lifestyle firm. You're
a
lifestyle firm.
Yeah, we really are. We really, really are. And
that's cool.
I love that. I love to see it all through. So we have started, tapping into that. I did all of, Usher's my other bestie.
Usher's, yep.
And client. And so we did, his house is about to come out.
Okay, cool.
And we did all the landscaping. It's all Nicole Fuller. And it's exciting, and it's exactly the way I saw it. And it ties into the house, and it ties into the textiles, and it ties into all of it. And it's magical, I mean, don't ask me what lives and what dies. That is not my forte in the plant world. Yeah. But my team knows that. The people I've hired to be into the firm, they know everything. They're the ones in the soil and doing the dew, and they know what lives in certain climates and what doesn't, and they know what blooms. And I just have the vision. I want the vision there, and then, all the statistics and all the logistics that they work out, which is really important because I hate when I have plants and they die. It's sad.
No, of course.
I want things to thrive and like be forever blooming and moving, and in the winters things are green, and in the other seasons things are blooming, and it's nice.
Well, sounds like your whole life's been blooming. So
thank you.
This has been great.
Thank you. It's been so great.
A wealth of knowledge, and just like your candor with things. I love it. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I really adore you, and I'm so happy to do this together. It's a
and
great way to spend.
I hope to see you in October at the show.
100%. I will be there. I'll be, in line.
All right. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining another episode of Design Discord. Please send it to a friend. We are trying to grow the channel, as you know, and none of you listen this far. So if you are listening, send it to a friend, hit the like button, subscribe. Let's go. We want to reach more people. So anyway, if you did listen this far, I thank you. I love you, and I will see you next time.